We have our wonderful juicy beefsteak tomatoes. This is what we got going on. We got our tomatoes, y'all. Check out this gnarly looking tomato. Yo, peace family, love, abundance, light, manifestations, and gratitude. It's KIP. We're out here right now. We are at the farm and it is a Friday and we're picking our veggies. I just wanted to share with y'all how the farm has been going, the progress. So we're gonna talk veggies, y'all. So today is harvest day, and what better thing to harvest than tomatoes? We have our wonderful juicy beefsteak tomatoes that we're growing. Angelique, she's over there harvesting right now. We've harvested quite a few. We don't have a million. Some of the lower tomatoes are getting or have been getting bid on, but the taller tomatoes, because we're trellising up, they are doing pretty well. But I wanted to show y'all just what we had going on today, so let's rock with it. Now this is our first time successfully growing our beefsteak tomato. Last year we trellised, but we didn't prune. This year we trellised and we pruned and we applied BT Bacillus thuringiensis. We used that to help combat some of the pests that came and messed with our tomato plants from last year. So this is what we harvested so far. We only got a few tomatoes off of here. We got more coming, more on the way. See if I can take y'all a closer look. We got one down here. It'll look good, but then when you turn it over, you got stuff like this all jacked up. So we're not gonna be able to sell that at the market. Now, if I had to eat and survive, I'd tear this up. I might take this home, I'll cut this piece right there, and I'll eat that thing. We just ain't gonna take it to market. Then we have these tomatoes, and they're looking a lot better. That's not a hole or anything, that's just the bottom of the tomato. One of our friends at Fuller Farm, they suggested harvesting them at this stage and kind of preserving them for like a few days, like put them in a paper bag, and some people say even put in a paper bag with a banana peel, but that's supposed to allow them to turn red in the bag and you beat the bugs to the food. Today is Friday, our market is tomorrow, so we harvesting the reddest of our tomatoes, but that's a cool technique and we tried it before. It definitely does work, so I might be taking these. How I harvest these tomatoes is I just take them and kind of give them a gentle tug like that, and that's how I harvest my tomatoes. One thing that's cool about this year is that this year we planted purple basil along with our tomatoes. So I don't know if y'all can see the purple basil. I'm gonna give y'all an up close look, but I thought that was a really good thing to do. We both thought it was cool. It's something that we tried last year with sweet basil, but we wanted to grow some purple basil. It smells it's really fragrant, really aromatic. You can use the purple basil as a tea or as a pesto or as any other thing you would use basil for, and it's doing really well. Here's an up close look at our basil plants. So Angelique's harvesting those tomatoes, and pretty much we did 3 rows, 1, 2, 3 of our beefsteak, and then we got my favorite, our sun-gold cherry tomatoes, over the next 3 rows, and then the following 3 are Roma tomatoes. Then we have our cucumbers in rows of 2, and we got 3 varieties of those, and then we have our buckwheat cover crop. So let's walk over there and see what's up. Shout out to our beautiful echinacea plants. Doing really wonderful out here. This is another medicinal plant. People use it as a tea, and the pollinators love it, y'all. We got some more plants over there, and the bees are taking off. Got some honeybees going crazy over here. Y'all look at that honeybee eating. We're really collecting pollen, but it's getting down. Now the tomatoes that we didn't trellis are on this side. We have our post up for some of the rows, but we kind of got overloaded with our work and we didn't trellis the rest of our tomatoes. We kind of just let them go. We did spray BT and we did fertilize them. So they're actually doing pretty well, but they do need some TLC in the trellis department, and that's what we're going to be taking care of the next few days. But I just wanted to show y'all our sun gold tomatoes. Here they are, our sun gold cherry tomatoes, super delicious. We're about to do some picking for tomorrow's market, and we just got a lot. So if it rains, we're gonna be bringing them to our nearest restaurant or grocery store. But 1, 2, and 3 are sun gold cherry tomatoes. Here's one of the tomatoes, like perfect. You see how easy that came off? And that's pretty much how we like to harvest them. The lighter ones are delicious too, and they come off pretty easy. Yeah, super delicious. So delicious that I like eating them. And that's what I'm gonna do at least to one. It's like candy, y'all. Woo! Ain't nothing like eating tomatoes with the warmth of the sun incubated in them. Oftentimes people eat chilled fresh tomatoes, which is okay, you put that in your sandwich, but ain't nothing like a warm tomato straight from the earth, with no chemical pesticides. You know, you could just eat this right now and get all the microbe activity straight from the love of the sun. Wow. All right, let me stop before I eat up all the tomatoes at the farm. So over here, we have our Celosia argentea, our Nigerian spinach, also known as Koto, aka Koto. And we got this from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. It's a really great heat-loving crop, drought resistant, pest resistant, and it's pretty delicious. All you would do is you would take these, you would take this, you can snap it off like so, peel off the leaves, throw them into a steam pot with some onions and garlic and coconut milk and chili powder and all that, and you good to go. So we're bringing these to the market. We're really excited for these. One thing I'm super proud of this year is our sweet potatoes. Last year they got demolished by deer, and we planted it over there. I don't know if y'all can see those posts over there, but we planted them over there and they got eaten up by deer when there's no fence. But this year we planted them in a different space inside of our fence, which is around the whole area. But the point is that no deer are going to be eating them this year, which makes it so exciting. Also, this is our sweet potato space, but what you see here mostly is our buckwheat cover crops, which is an awesome cover crop to grow. It is a cereal grain. We're not using it for that. Some cultures, they use it as pillow stuffing, like in Japan, they use it as a pillow filler. But these buckwheat, they grow pretty fast. They flower in 8 weeks, and they're just a good cover crop to have. We have our sweet potatoes planted in between, and it's kind of helping to keep that soil intact and our soil covered until our plants start taking over our sweet potato plants. So I'm really excited about them. They're doing really well. We got a persimmon tree over there popping, and everything's looking good. Now, all of our crops are doing pretty well, but you know one that I really enjoy? Cucumber. I love slicing these babies up and putting them in some water. It makes for a super refreshing drink. You can also slap some vinegar on that bad boy, put some salt and pepper, and you got yourself a nice cucumber salad. And it's just a great veggie. You can put it in your sandwiches. People love these things, so we grew a ton of them, and they're doing pretty well. Like I said, we have 3 varieties of slicing a cucumber. I think one's called Arkansas Little, one is called Gherkin's cucumber, and another one is called Downy Mildew Resistant, y'all. And we got these from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Shout out to that company. They sell seeds in the Southeast. We don't get sponsored or supported by them. We just support them and get their seeds, and it's pretty cool. So I'm proud of these crops. We're gonna take a closer look at the cucumbers so y'all can see how it's doing. These cucumbers are totally going gangbusters over here. And you gotta, that's how I harvest them. Now, one thing that can be tricky is knowing when to harvest your cucumber or your melons in general. But right now we're talking cucumber. When do I harvest my cucumber off the vine? We notice that different cucumbers are different sizes at the same time. You'll plant a plant and it'll produce flowers, which would then produce fruit. But there'll be different sizes at the same time, and you gotta ask yourself, what do I harvest? Well, it's quite simple. What we do is we get down with our cucumber plants and we check, and you see this little deformed guy right here. Because it has that white right there, if I wanted to, I could harvest that. Then we have one over here. I could harvest that. So when they start to get a little white underneath, that's when we start looking to harvest. Let me see if we can show you an example of one that's not ready. All of a sudden I find a whole bunch that I ain't seen before. Now, if they're more green, like this one over here, hasn't really turned too pale yet, has just a little bit going. Now, if they're down here and they're not too pale, they still got a lot of green to them, then I'll just keep those into the ground. Honestly, once the fruit forms, with cucumbers, you can kind of do what you want, because it's not like you're waiting for them to go to seed. So even if they're on the greener side, you can pick them. But we like to just wait until they have, like, let's see, let me show y'all a good one. Like, it's a nice size, and we like to wait until you get that spot right there. That's how we know they're really ready. So even if they're small like this is our Arkansas Little variety of cucumbers. We'll pick them if they're turning white like that. But we try to get them when they're a lot larger. Here's an example of one that's a larger cucumber. We didn't want it to get no bigger, but it didn't have too much of that paleness that we're talking about. So we went ahead and harvested, and it's still gonna be great, y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Just wanted to show y'all how our season was going, what type of crops we had in the ground, and just how everything's looking from last season up until now. I'm excited about the progress. I'm excited about what we got going for the future. I appreciate y'all rocking with us. Make sure you drop a comment below. Let us know how your season is going. If you haven't gotten started, what are some things you want to grow in the future? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Consider supporting us on Patreon. And as always, thank you for being smarter by nature.